Ms. Cusi for 5 minutes.
Good morning, colleagues. Bonjour, chers collègues.
Good morning, colleagues.
Of Thursday, April 25th of this year, I received an urgent message from my colleague indicating the necessity of a call as soon as possible. I was not alone on the thread, and so the call was set for later that afternoon. The contents once shared were disturbing. Those present on the call had been the target of a cyber attack by APT31, a hacker group set up by the PRC. To receive this news is unsettling, to say the least. You immediately think of your most intimate transactions. It's impossible not to. And your thinking regresses backwards and quickly through all communications. It's no secret our electronic communications confer the most precious details of our lives: where we are, who we're with, and what we're doing. One comes to Jesus quite quickly in these moments, which is rapidly followed by the crushing resentment of how did this happen and why. I've never taken my stations for granted as a member of Parliament and former diplomat for Canada. I've recorded in thorough detail with the authorities in the past relationships where I questioned the motivation of those forming a bond with me. My triggers were always lavish gifts, suspicious backgrounds, and a forced effort to create a closeness. In 2021, after changing residences, I requested a sweep of my home for bugs. I was informed by the authorities that these services were not available for those outside of the executive of government. I had a security assessment done in my home and the recommended security system installed, to the remark of a colleague who indicated that they could see who killed you after you were dead. Do I desire the 24-hour protection of some of my colleagues? I'm very nervous about reaching that level of notoriety. Yes, I've been stopped both in the vitamin aisle and in the deli section by those who recognize me, but this is, of course, another level. The most disturbing aspect of this is having been informed by not even a second, but third hand. So I'm very grateful to have had run into Luc de Pulford at the inauguration of the Taiwanese president in Taiwan, and to have thanked him personally for his intelligence and sharing with us. Despite our differences, I've also always had an affection for the United States, having done both my master's degree and having served as the Canadian consul to Dallas from 2010 to 2013. So I'm not surprised it was actually the Federal Bureau of Investigation that surmised this breach and informed IPAC, who then informed my colleague, who then informed me. This does, however, not dismiss the pervasive and persistent disappointment I have in being informed, not directly by the Canadian government. As a consul, I felt a keen guardianship for all Canadians in my host region. I wish the Canadian authorities reflected the same sentiments in having informed me about my violators. I can only deduce that they did not. My sense of disappointment is overwhelming. The fear that consumes you when you think about the possible effects on you, your family. You try to push them out of your head, like a tooth your dentist says that needs to be pulled at a later date. As a legislator, you consider what needs to be done to protect you and those around you, as well as your colleagues. You take this path knowing a part of your life is not your own, but this validates it in a manner far vast than you would like to consider. In closing, I believe in evil, and not just in the biblical sense. I believe in malice in the hearts of men, those who wish to intentionally inflict harm upon others. One need only refer to Navalny or the 37 murders in La República de Mexico in the most recent elections. I'm not talking about someone saying I'm hot or not online. I have thicker skin than that. But the potential for real harm to me or for my loved ones. This attack appears on the surface to have been minimal in impact, but it indicates a far greater concern that someone is watching. They want to know what I'm doing, who I'm meeting, and where I will be. Evil, when confronted, will always try to realign, but the tactics are always the same. Divide, conquer, intimidate, extort. These micro acts of regression are the genesis of the foundation of intelligence gathering. The reality is that what you don't know can hurt you. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.